What's up, good people? It's your boy Cafe. Let's talk about it. So, The Watchers, Ishana, if I'm saying that correctly, Night Shyamalan, which is M. Night Shyamalan's daughter. This is her film that she wrote and directed this film. And I checked the movie out, and I'm going to give you my thoughts about this film. But before I get into it, I'm just going to say this. This was a film that should have gone to streaming instead of the theaters. Now, before y'all jump on me and start trying to make it seem like I'm hating on the movie, hear me out first. And I love to have a debate, so make sure you leave your comments in the comment section and your questions so that we can talk about it. So, number one, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I'm like, okay, it looked interesting. But what I was thinking was, okay, typical monster movie taking place in the woods. People go in the woods. There's some demons or a monster in the woods. People trying to get out the woods away from the monster. That was it. So I was just like, don't really know if I'm gonna check it out. But when it said M. Night Shyamalan's daughter, this was her film, then that piqued my interest to say, let me check this movie out because we're familiar with her dad's work and what he's done and all the great movies that he did. So the curiosity of his daughter doing this movie caught my interest, like I'm pretty sure it caught other folks' interest to say, let me check this out to see what she's gonna do with this movie. Is she gonna step out of her father's shadow and she's gonna go a totally different route than what he's gonna do? So to me, I feel like that is what was selling people to go check the movie out that it was his daughter. Now, sitting in the theater watching this movie, I just couldn't really get into it. I was trying to get into it. I was trying to get a movie a chance. It started out slow, and I was just like, okay, things are going to pick up. Things are going to pick up. But it was it was like watching a M. Night Shyamalan's movie instead of his daughter's film. From the beginning to the end, how the movie was, it was like watching his movie. And I'm just sitting there like, okay, I'm thinking that this was her movie and that she was going to go a different route. But that's what I got out the film. And it didn't really start to have or really start to get good until the ending. That was it. It was just the ending. And even with the ending, it was like, okay, but this is a movie that could have gone to, well, I wouldn't say could have, that should have gone to streaming because it just didn't have the strength to hold its weight in the theaters to catch people to but that people want to go see this. And you can tell by looking at the box office numbers that it just couldn't hold the weight. Now, if this film would have went to, let's say, streaming, somebody like Netflix, this would have been a perfect film to go to Netflix because they could have used that promotion, that hype surrounding the film and put this on Netflix that it would have been a big financial success and it would have been successful for Netflix instead of going to the theaters. Because, like I said, just watching the movie, it was more so a streaming film instead of a theatrical release. And it wasn't just me, it was other people in the theater felt the same way like, hey, this was something I could have watched at home instead of coming to the theater because it just couldn't keep their interest. And as I said before, This is what you're starting to see now with a lot of horror movies coming out. Now they're jumping on the Monster in the Woods routine now. If they're not doing a reboot or a remake, we're gonna take something and wear it out we're gonna wear out the Monster in the Woods routine because hey, the woods are scary, everybody's scary going to the woods. So let's put a monster, let's put some serial killers up in there. That'll do and that'll draw people in. But unfortunately, it's not happening. And also, I'm gonna say this because I'm gonna talk about this in my next video, is that if you all have looked at what's been going on with the movie theaters, the films that have been coming out have not been drawing the box office numbers that some of the studios wanted. They just haven't been hitting in the theaters lately, you know. And I'm gonna do a video where I'm gonna give you my opinions about that. But coming back to the subject, this movie should have been a streaming film instead of going to the theaters. Now, this is not me throwing shade at her, saying that she's a bad director or anything like that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying this film would have had better success on streaming. This would have been this was been a really good Netflix streaming film. Now, I'm curious to see how she's gonna bounce back with her next film and see what she's gonna do. So she's definitely got my curiosity there, and I want to see what she's gonna do. But overall, with this film, on a scale of low, medium, high, I'm just gonna give this film a low because this is something that you could watch at home with your girl, or if you at home saying, "Hey, you know what? I'm gonna check this out." But a theatrical release just wasn't strong enough to hold its weight in the theaters. So you guys, if you have checked out The Watchers, let me know. Let's have this conversation. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned.